Admiral Lisa Martinez stood at the observation deck of Earth Defense Station Alpha, her hands clasped behind her back as she watched the stars. The piece of paper in her pocket felt heavy. Another report of alien ships entering human space without permission. She had read too many of these reports over the past 20 years. The station's soft blue lighting reflected off the window, showing her tired face. She was only 45, but dealing with the Galactic Council had aged her beyond her years. 300 years of being told what humans could and couldn't do would wear anyone down. "Admiral," a voice called from behind her. "They destroyed another one of our ships." She didn't turn around. She knew it was her second-in-command, Captain Eric Thompson. His footsteps echoed as he walked closer, holding a data tablet. "Which ship?" she asked quietly. "The research vessel Hope." Dr. Amanda Carter's team was studying the new quantum effect they found in the Jensen system. The Zex theory said it was their sacred space. Thompson's voice shook with anger. 23 scientists, all dead. Martinez closed her eyes. Dr. Carter had been one of their best. Brilliant, dedicated, and always careful to follow the Council's rules. Not that it mattered to the Zex theory. "Did they even warn them?" she asked. "No, Admiral. They just opened fire. The Hope didn't even have shields up. They were just studying stars." Martinez finally turned around. The command center spread out below them, filled with officers doing their jobs, pretending this was just another day. But she could see their tension, their anger. What did the Council say? She already knew the answer, but she had to ask. They said the Hope shouldn't have been there. Said the Zex theory were protecting their historical sites. Thompson handed her the tablet. "They're not even going to investigate." Martinez read the Council's message. The same cold, dismissive tone they always used with humans. The same warnings about staying in approved areas. The same threats about what would happen if humans didn't follow their rules. A young officer ran up to them, her face pale. "Admiral, the Zex theory are setting up a base in Mars orbit. They didn't ask permission. They say it's to keep the peace in our system." Martinez looked back at the stars. Somewhere out there, 23 families were about to learn their loved ones weren't coming home. Somewhere out there, alien species were deciding what humans could study, where they could go, what they could build. She reached into her pocket and touched the paper again. It wasn't just a report. It was permission from Earth's government. Permission she had requested 5 years ago. Permission to use the weapons and ships they had built in secret. Permission to show the galaxy that 300 years of patience didn't mean 300 years of weakness. "Send a message to Luna Base," she said quietly. "Tell Chief Engineer Brown to activate Project Dawn. Then contact Commander Patterson. Tell her it's time for Avalanche." "Yes, Admiral," Thompson said. He understood what this meant. They all did. The young officer looked confused. Should I send a protest about the Mars base to the Council?" Martinez smiled slightly. "No, Lieutenant. No more protests. No more asking for permission. No more watching our people die while we write strongly worded letters." She turned to face the command center. One by one, her officers looked up at her. They had all lost friends to alien attacks. They had all watched Earth's colonies be given away to other species. They had all waited for this day. "Send word to all Earth forces," she said. "Operation Awakening begins now. It's time to show them what humanity can really do." The command center erupted into action. After 3 centuries of being pushed around, humanity was finally pushing back. And the galaxy would never forget what happened next. Deep beneath the lunar surface, Chief Engineer Daniel Brown walked through a massive underground hangar. Around him, hundreds of ships filled the space, ships that no alien species knew existed. Each one carried technology that humans weren't supposed to have. Each one represented years of secret work. "Status report," he called out to his team. The hangar's lights reflected off the ship's quantum shields, creating patterns that still amazed him even after 10 years of development. Susan Miller, his lead systems engineer, jogged up to him. All ships are ready, Chief. The shield tests came back perfect. Not even a Zextheri energy cannon could get through these. Brown nodded, running his hand along the hull of the nearest vessel. The metal felt warm, alive with the quantum energy flowing through it. The aliens thought humans were stuck with basic spaceflight and simple weapons. They had no idea what Earth's scientists had achieved in their hidden labs. Commander Patterson's team just arrived, Susan said, checking her tablet. They're bringing the last of the avalanche weapons up from Earth. As if on cue, the huge cargo elevator at the far end of the hangar hummed to life. Commander Michelle Patterson stepped out, followed by trucks carrying long silver containers. Brown smiled. Those containers held weapons that would change everything. Daniel, Patterson called out, walking over. Please tell me the ships are ready. We just got word about the Mars situation. They're ready, he said. How many do you need? All of them. Patterson's face was serious. Admiral Martinez is done waiting. We're going to show the galaxy what happens when you push humans too far. Brown wasn't surprised. He had known this day would come ever since he started working on the quantum shields. Every time the aliens destroyed a human ship or took over a human colony, his team had worked harder, pushed further. Susan, he called. Start powering up all ships. Full quantum core activation. The hangar came alive with light and sound. Blue energy rippled across the ship's hulls as their quantum cores powered up. The energy readings would be hidden by the moon's natural radiation. Another trick humans had perfected while pretending to be primitive. Remember when the Murith ambassador laughed at our engine designs? Susan asked, watching the ships power up. Said humans would never understand true space travel. I remember, Brown said. I was in that meeting. Right after that, we figured out how to bend space itself. He smiled. Turns out humans understand quite a lot when we put our minds to it. Patterson opened one of the silver containers. Inside was a sleek missile, covered in markings that looked like flowing water. The avalanche system, she said. One hit, and every computer system on an alien ship just stops. No damage, no deaths. Just leaves them floating in space. Perfect, Brown said. That's exactly what we need. Show them we could destroy them, but choose not to. Make them understand that humans aren't violent. We just want to be left alone. A message flashed on all their screens. Admiral Martinez's face appeared on the hangar's main display. This is it, she said. The Zextheri just fired on a civilian transport near Mars. No more waiting. Launch everything. Brown looked at his team, then at the ships they had built in secret. 300 years of being told they weren't good enough. 300 years of watching their people die while aliens called them primitive. 300 years of patience. You heard the Admiral, he said. Let's show them what humanity has been doing while they weren't watching. The hangar doors began to open, revealing Earth hanging in space above them. As their ships rose from the lunar surface, Brown thought about all the aliens who thought they knew what humans were capable of. They were about to learn how wrong they had been. Catherine Walsh sat quietly in the grand chamber of the Galactic Council, listening to aliens talk about how primitive and dangerous humans were. The chamber's high ceiling sparkled with floating lights, meant to show off alien technology. She had seen it all before, just like she had heard all their insults before. The Zextheri ambassador, a tall creature with metallic scales, stood at the center of the room. These humans dare to question our right to protect our sacred space, he said. They sent a ship into the Jensen system without permission. We dealt with it as our laws allow. Walsh touched the small device in her pocket. It was sending everything back to Earth in real time. She wondered if the aliens knew that humans had figured out how to bypass their communication blocks years ago. 23 scientists, she said softly. They were studying stars. They had no weapons. Silence. The Murith elder shouted from his floating platform. Humans speak when spoken to. You are here to listen to the Council's decision about your punishment. Walsh smiled slightly. In her ear, a tiny device was feeding her updates from Earth. Admiral Martinez's fleet was almost ready. Commander Patterson's weapons were in place. Everything was happening exactly as planned. The Council has decided, the Vextal speaker announced. Earth will give up all rights to the Jensen system. You will also surrender your Mars orbit for peacekeeping forces. This is not negotiable. Walsh stood up slowly. Around the chamber, alien representatives watched her with the same look they always had, part pity, part disgust. They thought they knew everything about humans. They thought they understood Earth's capabilities. I have a message from Earth's government, she said. The aliens muttered in annoyance, but she continued anyway. Humanity withdraws from all treaties with the Galactic Council, effective immediately. The chamber erupted in shouts and threats. The Zextheri ambassador stepped toward her, his scales gleaming. You dare. Your species exists because we allow it. Your ships fly because we permit it. Your colonies survive because we protect them. Walsh looked him directly in his silver eyes. No, she said, we exist because we choose to exist. We fly because we built ships you never knew about. And our colonies survive because we've been patient. But that patience just ran out. Her pocket device buzzed. Admiral Martinez's fleet was launching. The quantum shields were active. Operation Awakening had begun. You threaten the Council. The Murith elder laughed. With what? Your primitive weapons. Your simple ships. We don't make threats, Walsh said. She pressed a button on her device, and the chamber's floating lights went dark. The aliens' personal shields flickered and died. Their communication systems fell silent. In the darkness, only Walsh's voice could be heard. For 300 years, you've told us what we can't do, what we can't build, what we can't achieve. And for 300 years, we've smiled and nodded and kept right on working. The emergency lights came on, casting red shadows across the shocked faces of the alien representatives. Walsh walked to the center of the chamber. Look outside, she said. Through the chamber's crystal walls, they could see their defense platforms going dark one by one. Their mighty ships were drifting, powerless. This is what humans can do. This is what we've always been able to do. We just chose not to. Until now. The Zextheri ambassador reached for his weapons, but they were dead too. Everything alien in the solar system was shutting down, piece by piece. The Council is dismissed, Walsh said. Earth will speak with you again when you're ready to talk as equals. And this time, we won't be patient. Captain Samuel Hughes watched the Zextheri peacekeeping base appear through the viewing window of his ship, the Defiance. The alien structure hung in Mars orbit like an unwanted guest, its weapons pointed at Earth's colony below. Next to him, Dr. Amanda Carter checked her readings one last time. Their shields are at full power, she said. They're expecting a primitive attack. Missiles, maybe some basic energy weapons. She smiled. They have no idea what's coming. Hughes nodded. His crew worked quietly at their stations, each person knowing their role in what would become history's first demonstration of true human military power. The Defiance had been built in secret, deep under the lunar surface. Not a single alien sensor had detected it during its journey to Mars. Signal from Earth Defense Command, his communications officer reported. Admiral Martinez says we're clear to proceed. Show them what we can do, but no casualties. Perfect, Hughes said. Dr. Carter, start the quantum drive sequence. The ship hummed as Carter activated systems that no alien species thought possible. The Defiance's engines didn't just move through space. They bent it, twisted it, made it dance to human mathematics that the Galactic Council had never imagined. Sir, his sensor officer called out, the Zextheri are hailing us. They're ordering us to leave their security zone immediately. Hughes smiled. Put them on screen. Let's be polite about this. The alien commander appeared on the main display, his metallic scales shimmering with anger. Human vessel, you have entered restricted space. Leave now or be destroyed. This is Captain Samuel Hughes of the Earth vessel Defiance. Hughes replied calmly. "You are in Mars orbit without permission. We're here to escort you out." The alien laughed, showing teeth like polished steel. "Escort us? With one small ship? Your species truly is as stupid as they say." "Dr. Carter," Hughes said, "please show them why size doesn't matter anymore." Carter pressed a sequence of controls. The quantum drive activated, and space itself rippled around the Defiance. Before the aliens could react, Hughes's ship was inside their defensive perimeter, passing straight through shields they had thought unbeatable. "Impossible," the alien commander shouted. "No human ship can." "The time for telling us what we can't do is over," Hughes said. "Amanda, shut them down." Gently, Carter launched a single avalanche missile. It passed through the alien shields like they weren't there, leaving a trail of blue light. When it touched the base's hull, every system on the alien station went dark. Weapons, engines, life support, everything except basic air and gravity. What have you done?" the alien commander asked, his voice shaking. "Showed you mercy," Hughes replied. "We could have destroyed your base. Instead, we just turned it off. Earth rescue ships will arrive soon to take you home." He looked at his crew, seeing pride in their faces. For 3 centuries, aliens had treated humans like children playing with toys. Now they were seeing what those children had grown into. "Signal from the colony," his communications officer said. "They're cheering, sir. The whole colony is celebrating." Hughes thought about all the human colonies that had been lost to alien expansion. All the times they had watched helplessly as stronger species took what they wanted. Those days were over. "Send word to Admiral Martinez," he ordered. "Phase 1 is complete. The Zextheri base is neutralized. No casualties. Earth space is now under Earth control." As rescue ships approached the powerless alien station, Hughes knew the galaxy was changing. Humanity had finally shown its true face, and no species would ever underestimate them again. Admiral Lisa Martinez stood in Earth's main defense center as reports came in from across the solar system. On the massive screen before her, hundreds of alien ships appeared as red dots, all racing toward Earth. The Galactic Council had called in every fleet they had, determined to put humans back in their place. "They've crossed Neptune's orbit," Captain Eric Thompson reported. 500 ships from the Zextheri, 300 from the Murith. Even the Vextal sent their entire battle fleet. Martinez nodded calmly. "And our systems?" "The Chimera network is ready," Susan Miller answered from her station. She had helped build the massive web of quantum satellites the humans had hidden throughout their solar system. "They have no idea it exists, just like we planned." The Admiral watched as more alien ships poured into the solar system. They moved in perfect attack formations, their weapons charged. Each fleet could destroy a planet. Together, they thought they were unstoppable. "Message from the Council fleet," Thompson said. "They're ordering us to surrender immediately. They say they'll spare Earth if we give up all our new technology." Martinez smiled slightly. "Put them on screen. Let them see who they're talking to." The main screen changed to show the alien fleet commanders. The Zextheri Admiral's scales were dark with anger. The Murith commander floated in his gravity chair, looking disgusted. The Vextal leader's many eyes blinked with hatred. "This is your last warning," the Zextheri Admiral growled. "Surrender or be destroyed. You cannot fight all our fleets." "You're right," Martinez said. "Fighting would mean violence, deaths, destruction. We don't want that. We never did. That's why we built something better." She nodded to Susan. "Activate the Chimera network." Across the solar system, hidden quantum satellites came to life. They linked together, creating an energy web that no alien sensor could detect. The alien fleet commanders kept talking, making threats, not realizing what was happening. "Now," Martinez said quietly. Susan pressed a single button. Through the quantum web, invisible signals reached out to every alien ship. One by one, Their engines died. Their weapons went dark. Their shields disappeared. What is happening? The Murith commander demanded as his ship's lights flickered out. We turned your ships off, Martinez explained. No damage, no injuries, no deaths, just like what we did to your base at Mars. The same thing we can do to any ship that enters our space without permission. The Vextol leader's eyes widened. Impossible. Your species can't have this technology. We made sure of it. You tried. Martinez agreed. You banned us from quantum research, restricted our ship designs, limited our power systems, but you forgot something important. Humans are very good at solving puzzles, and we had 300 years to solve this one. On the screen showing the solar system, all the red dots had stopped moving. Nearly 1,000 alien ships hung powerless in space, held safely in place by human technology they had never thought possible. A rescue fleet is on its way, Martinez told the shocked commanders. They'll tow your ships to safe locations. Your crews will be fine. But from now on, Earth space belongs to Earth. Human technology belongs to humans, and human patience has run out. She looked at her crew, seeing pride in their eyes. They had trained for years for this moment, building systems in secret, waiting for the right time. Send word to all colonies, she ordered. Operation Awakening is complete. Humanity is free. In space around them, the mighty alien fleets drifted silently, their weapons cold, their engines quiet. The age of keeping humans down was over. President Christopher Morgan walked into the Geneva Peace Hall, where the most powerful beings in the galaxy waited. The alien leaders had come to Earth this time, not by choice, but because their ships couldn't leave without human permission. Behind him, Chief Diplomat Laura Bennett carried a simple data pad containing 300 years of evidence. Welcome to Earth, Morgan said, looking at each alien leader. For once, we'll do the talking and you'll do the listening. The Zextheri Supreme Leader's scales had lost their shine. The Murith High Elder seemed smaller without his floating throne. The Vextol Prime sat quietly, all eyes downcast. Their mighty fleets still hung powerless in space, a reminder of how much things had changed. Your species has gone too far, the Zextheri leader said, but his voice lacked its usual force. The Council will never accept this rebellion. Morgan smiled. This isn't a rebellion. This is a correction. Laura, show them what we found. Bennett stepped forward and activated her pad. The room's displays lit up with thousands of documents, messages, and records. Every time the aliens had broken their own treaties, every human ship they had destroyed without cause, every colony they had stolen. 300 years of evidence, Bennett explained. Every lie you told, every rule you broke, every time you pushed us down while breaking your own laws. The Murith Elder shifted uncomfortably. Where did you get these records? Our systems are secure. Are they? Morgan asked. Humans are curious. We look at puzzles and want to solve them. Your security was a puzzle. Your technology was a puzzle. And we had plenty of time to solve them all. He walked to the center of the room, where a simple wooden table stood. On it lay a single piece of paper, Earth's terms for peace. Here's what's going to happen, Morgan said. Earth will join the Galactic Council as a full member, equal to all others. No more restrictions on our technology. No more limits on our expansion. You demand much, the Vextol Prime hissed. What if we refuse? Bennett tapped her pad again. On the screens, images appeared of human ships emerging from hidden bases all through alien space. Quantum satellites activating near alien homeworlds. Defense systems that could shut down entire planets. Then we turn everything off, Morgan said simply. Not just your ships, your cities, your stations, everything you built that depends on advanced technology. How long would your world survive without power, without ships, without help? The room was silent. The alien leaders looked at each other, then at their own devices that only worked because humans allowed them to. We could have done this years ago, Morgan continued more softly. We could have turned it all off, could have watched your civilizations fall, but that's not what humans are. We don't want revenge. We don't want to rule. We just want equality. He pushed the paper forward. Sign. Accept Earth as an equal. Follow your own laws, and we can all move forward together. One by one, the alien leaders signed. Their hands shook, their pride broken, but somewhere in their eyes was a glimmer of respect. They had thought they understood humans, thought they knew what Earth could do. They had never been more wrong. The age of looking down on humanity is over, Morgan said as the last leader signed. Now we all look forward together, as equals, because that's all we ever wanted. That's all we had the patience to wait for. Outside the Peace Hall, crowds cheered. 3 centuries of being pushed down had ended. Humanity had risen, not through violence, but through patience, wisdom, and the quiet strength that had always been their true power. 1 year after Earth's revelation of power, Dr. Paul Richardson stood at a podium in the new Galactic Exchange Center in Geneva. Below him, representatives from every spacefaring species watched as he prepared to change the galaxy again. His quantum communication network would connect worlds that had never been able to talk before. The network is simple, he explained, using words everyone could understand. It doesn't care about distance, doesn't need relay stations, just instant connection between any 2 points in space. In the audience, alien scientists leaned forward, their old arrogance replaced by genuine interest. They had spent the past year discovering just how much humans had learned during their centuries of patience. We're sharing this technology freely, Richardson said. No restrictions, no special permissions needed, because that's what equals do. They share. Lieutenant Kelly Martinez walked onto the stage carrying a small silver box. Inside was the first quantum communicator designed for public use. She handed it to the Zextheri science minister, who accepted it with careful hands and respectful eyes. 1 year ago, we showed you our strength, Martinez said to the crowd. Today, we show you our friendship. Across the galaxy, things had changed in ways no one had expected. Human colonies flourished alongside alien settlements. Earth ships helped rescue stranded alien vessels. Human scientists worked with alien researchers, sharing ideas freely. The Murith elder who had once silenced humans in council meetings now asked for their advice. The Vextal, who had tried to keep humans from advancing, now sent their students to Earth universities. Even the proud Zextheri had learned to bow their heads in respect when human ships passed. The quantum network goes live today, Richardson announced. But it's not just for communication. The same technology can help us build better ships, clean dirty worlds, feed hungry people. Because humans never just solve one problem. We look for ways to help everyone. In orbit above them, the old Chimera network that had once shut down alien fleets now protected all ships equally. Human quantum shields guarded alien colonies from solar storms. The technology that had freed Earth now served the entire galaxy. Admiral Martinez, watching from the back of the room, smiled as she remembered the day everything changed. The aliens had expected violence, expected revenge. Instead, they got cooperation, got protection, got proof that humanity's greatest strength wasn't in weapons or power, but in the wisdom to use them wisely. Let me show you how it works, Richardson said, activating the quantum communicator. On screens around the room, signals flickered between stars instantly. Worlds that had been months apart by normal communication were suddenly neighbors. A young Zextheri scientist raised her hand. Why didn't you show us this technology before? Why wait so long? The room went quiet. Everyone knew about the destroyed human ships, the stolen colonies, the years of being treated like children. They expected anger in the answer. Because we needed time, Richardson said gently. Time to learn. Time to understand. Time to make sure we would use it right. That's what patience means. Not just waiting, but learning while you wait. As the quantum network lit up across the galaxy, alien worlds connected in ways they never had before. Trade grew. understanding spread. Peace strengthened. The age of looking down on others was over, replaced by something better. The age of looking forward together. And no species ever forgot that it began the day humanity's patience finally ran out.